Hello, everyone. Today is February 7th, 2024. This is the Kubernetes data production working group meeting. I think today we will continue to track the status of CBT. Ben, do you want to give an update on this, the CSI spec PR?
Yeah, so we managed to get another review from James over the weekend. So I had put my LGTM on it the prior week, I think, and then I pinged James. Please review it again. He says he found one more nitpick, so it sounds like we'll need another update, and one substantive comment about some of the language that I added, and I haven't followed up to see if that's sorted out yet. But I mean, this is the specific language around what starting offset means specifically, and I had added some words to try to constrain what SPs were allowed to do in a restart scenario where, you know, a prior transmission had been cut off and you're starting over to try to resume the change block updates, and so the client passes in a starting offset, and I didn't want SPs to have broad interpretability of what start offset means, so I tried to put some words in there, and it ended up being more confusing than helpful. So, well, we'll figure it out. I don't know. Do we have Carl or anyone else who want to offer any?
I see Carl is here.
Okay.
I'm just waiting on you and Jeff to sort out the language.
Okay. So
Yeah.
okay.
Is
this the one? Ben, is this the particular comment? Is this the one?
Are you sharing something?
I am. You're not. Do you not see?
Oh yeah. So I'm on my phone, so I got to switch between tabs.
Is this the?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the one. So basically, I'm trying to express a mathematical relationship between multiple fields, and the CSI spec doesn't do that anywhere else, so it comes off as sounding really weird. If someone else has a suggestion on how to like represent a mathematical relationship inside of a Golang comment that is more, you know, more comprehensible, I'm all for it. But yeah, I was just trying to be very precise to remove any ambiguity in the spec. That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah. I went through it the first time you wrote it. It made sense, but it reads like legalese, so maybe that's the problem. Yeah.
Well, I'm using the word like plus and greater than, and you know, in English, and it's just it feels weird. But I don't know any other way to express what we mean, which is there must be this mathematical relationship must hold.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, so what do we need to do? Sounds like
I mean,
is he waiting for you, or sounds like he's waiting for you?
Okay, I see there's another comment from James.
But I also see this one. Now, did the car see Prasad added this?
That was Prasad responding to Jeff's the knit, which
Okay, but this does not address this whole thing, right? Okay. Or maybe not. Okay, I see this is zero based. All right.
I'll follow up with James until we get satisfaction.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds like this. Is this the only comment now? Everything else? Did he have more?
No, it was those two. The one nitpick and then that comment you just showed.
Okay, that one. Okay, cool. Yeah, if you can come up with this noise. If you can come up with something, and then if you both can agree on it, then yeah, maybe we can hopefully get this merged. Okay, so we're getting really close. Good. So all right. I should say, and we'll reply. We'll just say this one, right? This particular one. Okay, sounds like it's this. Okay, so that's that one. And I think I remember see some comment from the PR reviewer. Let's see. It's the I remember seeing something.
John added some like
Oh,
yeah, he gave another thumbs up for the PR, but you know he wants us to think about like
oh,
yeah,
future.
like oh exactly right. Like he says non-blocking, but you know
Okay.
things. But he would like us to you know have some brief, at least like a brief description of how we're gonna handle upgrade, or at least like what the packaging of the sidecar looks like, sort of thing. So
Okay.
I'll take a look at it. If also if folks want to chime in there, feel free. But I'll take a look at it later today or later this week.
Okay. Yeah, that will be good. Yeah, since he added those comments. And the other thing is, okay, we need to talk about this again. Basically the repo problem. So I think we talked about this at the 6 Storage meeting, and I think at the end, Michelle and Yang are saying, you know, they are fine if we want, if we want to request a new repo, then we need to make sure we have an owner, because that means the owner meaning the person will need to keep updating this repo if there's any CVEs, you know, anything, you know, cutting releases, things like that. So that's one thing that we need to decide. So if we request a new repo, do we have anyone who will make sure that, you know, CVEs are always get updated, cutting releases and all of that? So just add it here.
And to be clear, fixing most CVEs is a matter of just running the dependabot to get the dependencies updated, because the likelihood of finding a CVE in that repo itself is very low, right?
Well, so actually it's constant, right? Because we are maintaining those sidecar repos. It's like constant. We always have to do those. It's actually
Right, but it's
lot.
just dependabot does the work of updating all your dependencies.
Right, but someone need to go and cut releases and all of that, right? So it's still
yes, yeah.
a lot of work.
There's
It's
toil.
not, yeah, that's why
toil
you know,
tasks.
that's why Michelle's emphasizing that, right? It's not like someone just started to have this report, then we
Do we know,
it's not done, right?
Xing?
Huh?
Do we know what it entails to coexist in the same repo? I mean, for one thing, we'll be in alpha and the rest of the stuff is not, right? So what are the rules?
That's the problem that we discussed in this 6 Storage meeting, was that if you share a repo, you're going to share the version number, and then the version number ceases to be meaningful for individual features. And you need to have a scheme to say this feature is stable and this feature is unstable, and so on. And until we establish that, we can't really have widespread repo sharing.
Yeah. So we do have, I mean, remember part of the CSI, not the CSI, the KEP has its own, what is it, protobuf definition, right? And that can be versioned by us too. So independent of the rest of the CSI. Okay, now never mind. I don't know. I don't know the rules.
That one actually we haven't had that. That's like a separate. We probably need to have like if we put this in, let's say, added as part of a snapshot, that means we need to have like one repo for that. Yeah, I don't even know how to release that one. So right now, if you look at the snapshotter, right? So snapshotter repo, we actually have. So we do have several things. We do have this one, right? So everything's under. So like all the API changes are in here. So if it's
Right, but there are
Xing,
multiple APIs though, right, aren't there? I mean,
So Ben, if we, does that make sense? Seems to be a little weird. So if we add that here, then would that be part of the client here? Those gRPC interfaces, it's a little weird because here we have, we have this folder. This is the client. We actually release the client as a separate release. Sorry, so we release this separately. So the client, see this one has its own module. So if we add those gRPC interfaces, will that be here?
Yeah,
Otherwise, I'm not sure what together with server.
this is yet another reason I'm in favor of a new repo, right? Is we don't have good answers to these questions.
That one is a little different, yeah, because like this one, we do have different APIs, different stages.
I understand that
Mhm.
the attraction of the mono repo is that it reduces this toil work of having to go through and do releases and update dependencies, and because there's just a lot of stuff you have to do every 4 months for every repo, and it's just
it's actually more frequent than that. Like we're talking about CVEs only. CVE could come in the middle suddenly, then you have to rush to do something that like in
I mean but
yeah.
so at least every
release is
4
every
months,
4
I guess
months,
I
right?
should say.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so the attraction of having a mono repo is like we can consolidate all that work
Right.
and get the benefit, but there is a cost, which is we have to develop a way of having multiple things live together, and like no one wants to pay that cost, so
Yeah,
so we're stuck, right?
That definitely is a little confusing. I'm not sure where to release it. That one, so part of the client also weird.
I'm a little confused, Xing. If you go to client APIs, right, you'll see there are two different APIs there, and they are under
Yeah,
different
we are
versions.
releasing them together. Correct.
No, go inside APIs.
Yeah.
You'll see one's a volume group snapshots at alpha 1, then
Those
volume
correct.
snapshot at
Yeah.
1. So
Yeah.
what's wrong if we have something here which is at a different version? Again,
No, yours is not yours is not this type of API, right? So
that's true.
That's why I'm thinking it's a little weird.
API.
It's not this. So everything here is, you use the the code gen, whatever those things,
Sure.
right? So those are all Kubernetes API related stuff. So we're adding. I'm just saying that's new. Right? I'm not saying it's not possible. I don't know. It's just weird. Sounds like a little weird. We need to add
I think
gRPC here.
we will get to the point where we can have a mono repo and everything can be shared. It's just like we need to define what that looks like, and it needs to start with things that are stable coming together rather than taking an unstable thing and adding it to a stable thing, I think. Otherwise, it's just going to have to move again, right? Because it won't live in external snapshot or forever. If we move towards a mono repo, there will eventually be like a CSI sidecars repo that will just have all of this stuff.
Yeah. But that one, yeah, we don't have that yet.
And I think someone.
Are you talking, Ben? Oh, I think we couldn't hear you anymore, Ben. Something is wrong.
Oh, he's dropped now.
Okay, yeah, he may have some mic problems.
Could whoever owns this report define the rules for us? How they expect
Well, but the problem is that one is not even there yet, right? That's like, do you want to wait for that? Then we don't know when we can start.
Well, we could, I mean, the thing is there's development time, right? And if we worked on the repo, at least there's a repo. But
if you are starting this one, we should have a 640 repo, right? If this is 640 project, should not be continued in your private repo anymore. Right. So once the cap merge, definitely we should start developing in a 640 repo somewhere. So, but problem is that
maintaining the software is a bigger task over time, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think we should pay attention to it.
Okay, so that's something that we still need to figure out, right? So if we don't have anyone who can constantly maintaining this, then we can have a new repo.
Yeah, I guess what is not clear to me is sorry,
Hello?
hello. Yeah,
Am
hi
I
Ben.
back?
Yeah, you're
Sorry,
back.
my connection dropped in the middle of, I don't know what I was saying.
Oh, I guess we were looking at this snapshotter thing, just trying to figure out, right? I think you were talking about something. I don't know.
I guess the last thing that we were talking about, Ben, before you dropped was within the client folder, like we see different versions of the API. Like there's like V1 and V1 Alpha 1. I guess what is not clear to me right now is what is the deciding criteria. Is it a matter of stability? Is it a matter of user adoptions? To get our, for example, to get our code inside this mono repo.
What I was trying to say is there is no mono repo right now. Like there's an effort to build one, but like external snapshotter is not it, right? External snapshotter is just one of the many repos we have. It started agglomerating a few different snapshot related things into it. But like what needs to happen is we need like an actual CSI sidecars repo that's meant to have all of this stuff, and we need to start pulling everything in there and have a specific versioning scheme for the combined thing and a way of representing which pieces are stable and which pieces are unstable. And then once we have that, like then you say, yeah, you just add more stuff to it. It's not a big deal. But like that doesn't exist. And so trying to just start gluing more stuff onto external snapshotter doesn't get us closer to where we need to be, I don't think. Because even if you do put it there, it'll still have to move later. So
yeah, I mean, like
the thing that made sense to me is to have a standalone repo, and you can put everything in there, including any Kubernetes APIs we add, the gRPCs that we add, any sidecars that we add, controllers, all of the stuff can go in one repo, and we can have a versioning scheme for change block tracking that makes sense. Starting with 0.0 and going to 1.0 when it's gets to beta or it's reasonably stable. It just seems easier to, if we have a bunch of stuff, keep that all in one repo and then roll that forward. And then once there is a CSI sidecars mono repo that saves everybody work, then just migrate to it. But there isn't right now.
I think like I see the reasoning there, like but I guess like my perspective from my perspective is like at least like from a feature logically it makes sense to have one repo that says this has everything to do with snapshot, right? Like volume snapshot, group snapshot, and now snapshot metadata, aka CBT. But in terms of I guess Xing, to your earlier question, like getting a owner to look after a new repo, like does it have to be owner or can it be owners? And what are like some of the requirements?
Owners. I'm not saying just one, but
yeah.
well, actually, we want to have more than one person
But
because
more is better. More is better.
Yeah. That's a problem I found. There's some repo just have one person. I don't even know if it makes sense to keep those, right? It just
right. Are
nobody's
they
using it, then what's the point of having that repo?
are there guidelines around like I guess like roles and responsibilities? I know we talk about CVE. I know we talk about cutting release and stuff like that.
You need to, so for
include
the
maintaining
new
CI, I guess.
right,
Pull
CI, right.
requests,
So
CI pull requests, issues, right? So
so if you have a new repo, of course you need to set up CIs, right? So that those are all required. CIs and then cutting releases, CVEs, yeah.
yeah, I mean like so from I can't speak for Prasad and Carl, but like from my perspective it's like not saying no to it, taking on the role of the owner or owners, but I guess like all three of us, like I mean logically, like there are three of us who are the authors, right? We are still new to this whole thing. I guess it's just like if all of a sudden now we have to take care of an official repo, like I think there would be some potential. There would be some learning curve for us, right? So it's not like and on top of actually doing the work, you know, like who do we talk to, like how do we do all this thing, how do we set it up, and things like that. So I'm just saying, like the initial like maintenance setup effort would be quite it's not negligible.
We'll take, yeah, we'll take
There's some people that own the existing sidecar repos who are not in this meeting, who could offer advice and provide examples. I'm thinking in particular of Jan. Maybe I don't know if Hamant still owns something, but
but they are not really I mean, if you're talking about what?
no, I'm not talking about adding them as I'm saying get advice from them on how to be an owner of your own repo. They can give you some pointers. Because I had to do this for the volume populator stuff.
Right.
And then I changed jobs and it stopped being a priority. So
right. So those are also right. Those repos right now. So kind of, so we have not been updating those as well, right? Right. So yeah. So the good thing is with the CSI sidecars, there are examples because like the release tools, right? Those are already there. You can just look at other sidecars as an example, right? It's not like if you're setting this in a different place, it's actually harder because there's no existing examples you can take.
So yeah, so effort aside, like I guess for me, it still makes sense to have one repo that says that here's all the snapshot related stuff, for at least from a community consumption perspective, right? So here in this repo, we have volume snapshots, group snapshot, I think snapshot metadata. At least from that perspective, it makes sense to be like, okay, this is part of it. Now, versioning it, maintaining it, I know it's a different story altogether. But
well, it won't have its own. If you are part of this repo, you won't have your own version. It's going to be part of the snapshot release every time we, release after a Kubernetes release, right? So then that will be released together, controlled by. Of course, it's disabled by default.
Yeah, that's okay, right? It's always not. Because potentially it's like potentially like if you release this thing, there would be like we probably have to get the other repo ready, at least in the releasable state too, right?
Well,
whether it's disabled or not.
Yeah, there were bigger objections last time at the 6 meeting on adding them to this repo. So
And I get it, I get the reasoning behind it, but again, it's still not clear to me what the criteria is. It's like stability and user adoption perspective, or
well, stability is one thing, right? Because I mean, if you add this to this repo, these features are already GA. Now we're adding something.
Oh, you have the
that is
volume
incremental.
group,
Yeah,
the group snapshot.
I think the thing that's missing is a well-defined criteria, right? Up until now, it's been each component starts off in its own repo and evolves on its own track, and we haven't had to tackle that question of like, when is it okay to combine things? So part of defining the mono repo is answering that question.
well, we actually have done that for volume group snapshot, right? That's a brand new alpha feature. But I think but that still kind of more related to snapshot itself. CBT just it's more, I guess it sounds more different, although it's out of snapshots. I think it's just the way it's designed. It's very, very different. So yeah, people are not sure.
Are there any places where we can learn some of these, again, get an overview of these release tools? Because I've just been browsing through the 3 commands here, looking at their mains, and each one of them has a version variable which is initialized to the word unknown. So obviously they're setting the version at runtime through some tools. And if we could figure that out, maybe, maybe it's already set up to have different versions for each command. So
no, this will not have different versions. The client and server, we all release them together. It's the same version.
No. Releasing together that's
what other version you're talking about? I don't know.
I'm talking about the version of the software, right? So for example, if you look under command and look at one of the main programs in one of these commands, you'll see the string version and it's set to unknown. So obviously they are set actually some tool is actually going and looking at the version and changing it.
This one?
Yeah, main.go, yeah.
What? Which one?
So there's a variable called version line 80.
Line
Oh,
18?
that variable is filled in at link time.
80,
When the Go
right?
linker
Right. So
links
somebody,
it,
some
it
tool
gets
is
the
setting it, right? And so if 95, okay, I'm looking at a different one. Yeah. Yeah. So, so some tool is setting it. So if this tool has controls on a per command basis, right? At least we could have different versions for each for our command, whatever we're doing, our sidecar different from the other sidecars.
I don't think you can have those have different versions because we can't release at the one place. We can't release at the it's here. We can't release here. You can't have different versions.
So you
Right?
want
We're
all
not
of
using
them.
that tool to cut the
I-
release.
so you
This
want-
is
so
the
you're
version we're
saying-
talking about.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you want the repo release version to be the software release version. Has to be, okay.
Yeah, I actually don't know what that version is. That's probably from I think the release tools have
Yeah, they probably use a link edit phase to change that value to the
yeah, but
version.
that's still that cannot be different versions. I think that's like when you
Okay,
run
fair enough.
ETE test or something, right? Could have different versions when you run ETE test, depending on where you're running.
Agreed.
You're running
Agreed.
it from the master or you are running it from a particular branch, right? So I think that's what that version is. But this release version, this has to be the same, right? We don't have it. We have
Yeah.
never cut the
So
release.
then we
from
have no
place.
choice. Then
It's
we have
not variable. It has to be here, right? Everyone see it. It's here. This is the release version. We have a client, right? Client is also here, right? It's the same. We don't use different versions. I don't see how you can do that actually.
Okay, so then we have no choice.
Yeah. So if you release, it's going to be the same version basically, right? So let's say if we add.
Yeah, until we have a CSI sidecars repo where the version goes back to 1.0 and we
Oh, did Ben disappear?
No, did he have
He
the?
did.
Okay, looks like he got dropped off again.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
he's back.
Maybe for alpha, we go through a separate repo, and once it stabilizes, we can then put it into this and jump from, instead of a version 1, we go to a version 7 or 8 or whatever this is at that point.
Well, no, once we move together in a mono repo, I think we'll start with 1.0 again. Everybody start with something like that.
So we can't go backwards, but yeah.
No, you will go backwards. It's going to be like we don't know. So that's the part that we have not sorted out yet, right? But the same thing, right? All the sidecars we added to this mono repo, everybody already have different versions. But when you are in this mono repo, of course, we can't release 10 different versions. That just doesn't make sense, right? So yeah, that's actually also a little weird thinking about it, right? Snapshot is already 7.0. So once we go back to mono repo, it become 1.0 again. So I'm not sure how we're supposed to tag those. I'm thinking maybe if we do that, we probably have to rename the sidecars. Like mono _ snapshot or something like that. Otherwise, it just make no sense, right? You can't go from 7.0 back to 1.0. 1.0 was already released a long time ago.
Well, that breaks an API promise, right?
That is
API.
true.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I don't know how that works. So that I don't think those are sorted out. That's why we don't have that yet, right?
So I guess well, just thinking what the next step should be. So is it like, sounds like SIG storage would like us to put this in a different repo, right? It's not so much of a suggestion, but it's more like likely that is the decisions, right? I mean, if that's what it is, right?
But then also we need to have someone who have a maybe all of you, 3 of you all agree to kind of
Yeah, I
take care
think
of the all of the things that we're talking about. So
yeah, I think like maybe what we can do is Prasad and Carl and I, we can just confirm offline and then get back to you. But I think essentially, if we do, I think it makes sense for us to take on the ownership, but I think it does mean like we would need some help with, getting a sense of how things work and stuff like that. Because all 3 of us are like really new to this. But yeah,
yeah, no problem. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of time and effort. I don't know if I have that much time and effort to spare. So
Yeah, you probably want to talk to your employer, make sure you given time to do this, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like Carl, like I wish I can just right now say, yeah, totally no problem. But yeah, I do need to like figure out some stuff and internally too, right? So, but if it is like if what we're saying here is okay, Six Storage said this is the way, you need to do it separately until we reach that state of a mono repo, then we will have to talk about it and figure something out, right? So from my perspective, this doesn't sound like a suggestion. This is like a hey, you must do it this way kind of thing.
Or contribute to the creation of the mono repo itself, right? Help drive that effort along, which is probably a bit heavier lift than just doing a separate repo.
Well, but that one itself is a huge project.
that's a
Yeah.
So that's the thing, right? How quickly do you want to evolve this? Well, we have not even started yet. And then that one's in parallel, yeah. But I mean, I think if you wait for that one, then you're going to delay this even further, right? So this is already has been several releases.
Or more like several years.
Yeah, several. Okay, true.
You'd have to understand the current repo before you can even participate in mono repo. And if we understood the current repo, we wouldn't have hesitation of a new repo anyway. So
yeah. So Xing, realistically, like you won't be creating any new repos until like we get back to you and say okay, we're game, or not, that kind of thing, right? Because we need to have the owners before.
Right.
We need to have that commitment before we
can because otherwise it doesn't make sense, right? So right now we actually have so many repos in Six Storage. Some of those are not maintained anymore. We actually need to archive some. So we need to be careful when we create new repos as well.
Well, we have eliminated the possibility of using this repo, right? Because essentially the version number doesn't match. So we have no choice. Question is, we can get software in, then how do we maintain it? I think if we break them as 2 separate issues, we can at least get started.
As in get started in a private repo? Is that what?
It has to be a private, it has to, no,
not private, but
a blessed repo. Yeah, official repo, but I mean, maintaining the repo is another issue, right? But getting the code in, because remember, whatever we've talked about, the prototype has to be, souped up and made robust, right?
Right. Okay. So the other thing is also like Xing, like is I guess if we do get the cap and the spec to merge, then I guess like officially it means that we can start coding, right? Like I think I in the ideal world, like we should have the official repo under the CSI org. But it's also can it also be the case as a hey, like maybe we can't start coding like right away or next week kind of thing after it's merged. Can we that sort of thing? Can we still get at least like the cap and the spec to merge first? Then we would.
Yeah, that's okay. The merging
figure out the repo.
We're not going to see the repo first before we merge. Right? That's not. Yeah, no. We of course try to get the cap merged. Yeah.
Okay, sounds like we have some time to figure out the logistic there. Not like you need an answer by next Monday kind of thing, right?
No.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like if the cap merge, then you can start, but then you are hold off because you don't have a repo. Because when if I send a request to have the repo created, this is somebody else who create this one. They probably take some time, right? So that's the thing, that if we can get this started early, will be better. But it's okay. That's not like it's not holding off the merge of the cap.
Okay, got it.
All right, so Ben still have some problems. Looks like he got disconnected again.
I keep getting disconnected and coming back.
Oh, okay, weird.
It's I'm sure it's on my end. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, if you guys can talk about this among the three of you.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so that's that. And what did we? Oh, Ben, I think we talked about this one last time in the CSS spec meeting, right? Are we saying I actually forgot what you say about this side cutting the release. What did we say? I thought we discussed about this one, but I forgot.
About the CSI spec. I mean,
like when do
we'll
we
do-
cut the let's say we get the CS spec PR merged. When do we cut it? I thought we have some discussion about that, but I forgot what was the conclusion.
So what we want to do just in time releases. So if
Okay.
you know, if it's possible, we'll have multiple things coming in and we don't know when they're going to land. We should wait in hopes that we'll get multiple things in a release.
Waiting for the cap, right? It's the same way waiting.
But if the date gets too close, no, we don't need to wait for the cap to do the CSI work. If we get the CSI spec change in, we can release it. I don't have a problem with that. But as for the timing of it, I want to wait until the last possible minute, as long as there's a chance that something additional will come in.
Okay.
And if once that chance goes away, then we should just do a release. If there's new content that needs to be released.
Okay. Basically wait as long as possible.
Yeah, because nothing stops people from developing against the master branch.
Okay.
Or from even developing against an unmerged PR, right? I mean, you can still do your own builds, compile stuff, test stuff. It's but once we do get it merged, we want to release it with the next Kubernetes release as an alpha release, or as an alpha feature.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, and then this one, I see that James started to review this other PR now, so.
Yeah, in the last CSI meeting, we did a scrub of all the issues that were less than a year old, to try to get them moving along. And the issue, the PR that fixes the compile issue was a massive change, and we weren't comfortable merging it, so we sent feedback to the submitter. But that's a CSI issue, not a data protection issue. But we'll get it sorted out.
Okay.
So am I getting disconnected again?
Oh, no, we can hear you. I heard you.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think we are. Okay, so we are fine with that. Okay, so this next volume replication, I think we are, right now in the beginning of February, so we will see if.
Is that next week, or that's in 2 weeks?
No, this is the next
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today, yes. So see if he can talk on that day. Otherwise, we'll be beginning of March. So we'll see. And this one, so yeah, so this is March as the PR we were talking about last time. This is for the static provision. We got the sidecar finally released. Okay, yeah, so that's this one. I don't have anything else. Are there any other topics we want to cover? If not, then that's it for today. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, folks.